The New York Jets get absolutely dominated by the New York Giants in their preseason Week 2 matchup. 31-12 is your final score, and the New York Jets are now going to deal with some adversity after having a fantastic start to the preseason in their Week 1 matchup over the Green Bay Packers. We got a lot to break down in this video. Aaron Glenn is not happy. He was not happy at halftime, not happy after the game, and there's no reason to be happy after this game, if we're being honest, folks. But we're going to break it all down in this video. But I first want to hear from Jets fans in the comments. What's your biggest takeaways? Are you one of those fans that is panicking and thinking the season's done and you're saying tank for a quarterback? Or are you saying it's just a preseason? Relax. Let me know where you stand, because that's the two type of Jets fan right now. So I'm curious which one you are in the comments section. Of course, there's some middle ground. I'm just playing around to start off the video. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's get straight into business. Now, where I stand on this is that I'm very consistent. Last week, when the Jets beat the Packers and blew them out, I said, we can't get too excited. We can't get over the top. It's just a preseason. And I'm going to say the same thing here. We can't get too down bad. We can't think it's the end of the world, that we don't have a coaching staff, we don't have a quarterback because of tonight. It's the preseason. You got to stay in the middle, because preseason is practice. This is an opportunity for this New York Jets football team to go out there and show what they're capable of. Now, with that being said, Justin Fields and the offense had 2 drives tonight, and they looked bad. Now, the run game looked really good, especially in that second drive. That is going to be the backbone. That is going to be the identity of this football team. But Justin Fields finished 1 for 5 for 4 yards and had a scramble for 6 yards or something like that. And it just did not put the ball where it needed to be. And if there's one thing that is a little alarming to me, is Garrett Wilson still has no catches, 5 targets, no receptions from Justin Fields, only 3 drives. So you got to really add context. It's not 2 full games of no Garrett Wilson. It's 3 drives, and Garrett Wilson cannot get the ball. And you look at the throws that Justin Fields is making to Garrett Wilson. One was a screen pass. The ball hit the dirt before it was able to hit Garrett Wilson in the hands. Inaccurate ball. 3rd down, a little hitch route. Garrett Wilson, the ball was late. Incomplete. 3rd and 2, slant over the middle. Garrett Wilson was smothered and incomplete. So they're trying to get Garrett Wilson the ball, but I don't really see that chemistry and that scheme of Tanner Engstrand getting him open. Now, it's super early. We can definitely tell that this offense is not, showing its full creativity just yet. They don't want to show their hand. They're going more vanilla, just running the football, because that's what they're establishing here. And my biggest takeaways, honestly, from this offense in tonight's game is that Tanner Engstrand and Aaron Glenn, they are trying to establish the ground, because this is going to be a ground and pound offense, and that's not breaking news. We already knew that. But that drive where they kicked the field goal in the second drive with the starters, it was 12 plays. 11 of the 12 plays was run plays. Braylon Allen got the ball on 3rd and 8, and he absolutely picked up the first down. Why? Because the Jets knew that the Giants was, number one, expecting a pass play, because when you line up Abdul Carter the way that they do, over the middle, over Joe Tippmann, and not on the edge, Elijah Vera Tucker, Joe Tippmann is going to eat Abdul Carter out of that play, because the New York Giants have a fantastic pass rush, and on 3rd and 8, that's usually a pass rush opportunity. That has to be a pass play, but no, that was a strategic play for Tanner Engstrand to give the ball to Braylon Allen. The Jets' offensive line was perfect, and Braylon Allen picked up the first down on 3rd and 8 on the ground. That one play is just a small example of what we're talking about here with this Jets team really committing to the run. And they're going for it. 4th and inches, no-brainer. Jets are going for it. So when the run game gets established, that is going to make or break this entire season, because when you are an offense like the New York Jets have by running the football, that is going to open up everything, because the defenses are going to start loading up the box. That's when the creativity comes. That's when the naked boots come. That's when Justin Fields can hopefully unlock some rhythm through the pass attack. But I feel like the Jets being so stagnant on offense in these 2 drives, especially the first one, it shows you that we are in a work in progress. And, last week the Jets had 1 drive, and it was check down, smart plays, running the football, and then a 15-yard scramble for a touchdown. Great job. And that was it. But we only saw 2 drives today. I wish Aaron Glenn put the offense back on the field for a 3rd drive, in my opinion. I think Justin Fields deserved another drive to kind of get some rhythm. But hey, they want to play it smart. I'm not going to say anything about it. Now, flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, the Jets were without Sauce Gardner. He's dealing with a calf injury. Will McDonald dealing with the knee. Quinnen Williams is dealing with the calf muscle. And then Byron Cowart is also out. and Jermaine Johnson still out. So those are all like big-time starters that were out for the Jets defense. And Russell Wilson, I mean, he pushed the ball down the field, had that 80-yard reception. You can even call it an 80-yard touchdown. Threw the ball over the middle of the field. Quantez Stiggers, they were in zone coverage. He tried to pass him off to our new safety, Andre Cisco. We got beat over the top. That was a brutal play. That cannot happen. Okay, Brandon Stevens, I will say, he did have a big play on the ball. Cool to see Brandon Stevens making a play like this because we need him to have a big-time play. Michael Carter II had a nice tackle. Good to see Michael Carter II back in action. I got no concerns about this defense, even though it was a little hit or miss for them tonight. Dean Clark was the star. I think he had like 2 pass deflections, an interception, a sack. The undrafted free agent safety definitely was the guy that was the player of the game defensively for the New York Jets tonight. But I feel like, there was not a lot of positives. The other positive you can say is the only touchdown the Jets had. Brady Cook threw a touchdown pass to Quentin Skinner, who had a one-handed grab in the back corner of the end zone. Cool stuff. But talking about the receivers real quick, Arian Smith, we had a full game of an Arian Smith effect. 2 drops, 2 catches. The first drop was brutal. You're like, okay, that can't happen. Right when we drafted him, everyone is concerned that he has drop issues. And they hit the ball, hit him in his hands, and he dropped it. And then he followed up with 2 big-time catches over the middle of the field on 3rd down, which is what you want to see. And then he had another drop down the left sideline. You can argue his pass interference. They did not call it. But, hey, that's the Arian Smith effect. We need him to really start making plays because you look at this Jets receiving room, there's not a lot of promise around Garrett Wilson right now. Okay, Malachi Corley, I'm convinced he's already cut in the coaching staff's brains because they're not even trying to get him involved. He's with the 3rd team. He's got guys like Pookie Wilson and Quentin Skinner and Jamal Pritchett ahead of him. Okay, like that is something that we need to note here. You got undrafted free agents that are rookies ahead of a 3rd-round pick in the last year's draft. I think Malachi Corley's days are numbered. He's not getting the rock. He's not involved at all. I think he's cut. That's basically how I look at it. So that's it. Now, on the ground game, Donovan Edwards coming off a fantastic game in week 1 in the preseason. He was flat tonight, did not really show anything. Kene Nwangwu was the guy that I think is actually going to make the team just based off his special teams ability, which is why I think the Jets are really trying to give him the ball. He was on the field more than Donovan Edwards. He's definitely ahead of Donovan Edwards on the depth chart, Kene, because of his special teams ability. And I think that the Jets want to keep him on this roster for his kick return ability. Remember last year, his first game as a Jet, he returned it for a touchdown against the Seahawks. But that's really all I have for you guys. The last thing I want to talk about is Aaron Glenn. How is he going to respond? You saw his passionate halftime interview. If you did not, here it is right here.
It's the second led to a field goal. How do you assess their play in the first half?
Sloppy, we got to get better. And we will get better in the second half. Defense, we gave up 2 big plays. That's the only thing we gave up. But other than that, we were sloppy across the board.
What is your message in the halftime?
We got to fix it. It's simple. We got to fix it. Can't be sloppy.
All right, good luck in the second half. Ryan, it's simple. Got to fix it.
You see how pissed off he was. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. And then, of course, he opened up the press conference after the game with this passionate speech.
You look at the overall game, wasn't good enough at all. I mean, that's no surprise. And on all levels. I thought we were sloppy. I thought we were undisciplined. And when I say undisciplined, I'm talking about some of the penalties that we had. I think we had about 8 or 9 penalties that we got to clean up. But overall, man, we got to play much better. And that's the beauty of this game. It's the beauty of this game because it always teaches you lessons, right? 1 week, man, you could be riding high because things are going extremely well. Then the next week, man, it can put you on your ass. It can put you on your ass. And the thing about it, man, if you want to be a winning team, you have to always do everything you can to stay at that level of always keeping things above board. And we didn't do that today. And I understand that. The only thing that we have to do is make sure we look at the positives in this area. We had a really good 2-minute drive. Thought our offense did a hell of a job. We had two INTs on the defensive side. Everything else that we did was wrong. Man, we go back to work next week, right? And that's the plan for us, to go back to work.
So this is a head coach in Aaron Glenn that is ready to deal with adversity, and this is an opportunity to see the type of head coach he is. How does the Jets team respond after being so high after the Week 1 win over the Packers, and now they should not be too low after this? They got to push forward. This team is going to be built on adversity. That's always something I always felt like with this football team. It's going to get ugly before it gets pretty, and that's my That's my expectation heading into the season. So let me know your biggest thoughts, guys. That's my biggest takeaways from the Jets' loss to the New York Giants. Sound off in the comments, folks. If you think that Justin Fields is now a bust after this game or whatever the case may be, you let me know in the comments. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I think Jets fans are awesome. We're the most passionate fans in the world. Let me know your thoughts, but I'm really calm throughout this preseason. I'm not going to read too much into it. Obviously, there's some things that needs to get worked on, but I'm just going to let the process play itself out, and I'm going to save my emotion for when it really matters, the regular season. What I mean by emotion, I mean passionate rants, getting really deep into it, because these games don't mean much. Robert Saleh, let me remind you guys, was 11-1 in the preseason with the New York Jets as the head coach, I believe. 3-0 last year, so you can't read too much into preseason wins and losses, just like you cannot read too much into the win last week, cannot read too much into the loss this week. So that's my final thoughts. Love you guys so much. I'm out, and let's go Jets. Peace.